Well, October 15th, 2023. And in the past week, things literally have taken a wild turn. From current events going on over on different platforms to, excuse me, to the Middle East, to, I want to say, in a nutshell, people who think they can fight but not really fight on a promotional standings and platforms updating their metrics for their partnership program and a bunch of other things. So bear with me. I'm gonna kind of go down the list. That one. I don't stick to a script. I just cover everything that I see that I feel needs to be, spoken on. So if you don't agree with this, I don't give a shit. This is what I see. This is my point of view. This is everything that I see. And I'm going to tell you straightforward. There's a topic within this week that it's going to hurt some. It's going to hit a couple people. So, to start, we have the war in Ukraine and Russia. That shit's been going on. U.S. is sending billions of dollars in aid over to Ukraine, while not focusing on the shit that's here in the U.S. And this is not going to be PG whatsoever. We have so much bullshit going on in our country that our own elected leaders can't even figure out where to start, and yet they're still going to send billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars in aid to one of our allies. Now, I get we're supposed to be there for our allies, but at the same time, take care of your own fucking issues here first. Because if you don't, you're going to you are seriously going to understand what it means to fucking feel regret whenever it comes time for your re-election. And I'm gonna tell you straightforward, the veterans once again are feeling the little hurt on things because they continue to cut certain areas and avenues within their budgeting, and it sucks. Now I don't care if you're like, oh well, y'all are vets, you signed up for this. We signed up to serve our country. We didn't sign up to get fucked over by our own government when we got out. Okay? I'm going to state that right goddamn now. We signed up to serve faithfully and willingly for our nation, but not get screwed over in the long run once we get out. Somewhere there's like this disconnect along the way with our servitude to the government trying to figure out what to do with all of us and how to best appease the millions upon millions of veterans. And there are still vets dying waiting for care from the VA, wherein they could literally go out in town and get that same care, but we can't without proper authorization from our doctor. Oh, I'm sorry. Primary care advisors, our PCAs. I can't go to a general clinic without the VA screaming in my ear that I didn't, notify them first. I can't. I have to go through the VA, wait months in advance to get an appointment, and then wait months down the road for that appointment. My knee is still jacked up, and I don't have physical therapy until the 31st. Whereas if they were to send me out of town, I would have already been seen. And I would have already started my physical therapy. I would have been strengthening the muscles that's causing inflammation in the knee. Whereas tomorrow, I'll be sending a message to my doctor saying, hey, I need chiropractic care because my back is, getting more and more fucked up. Also, I need community care to send me to somewhere to figure out what's going on with this. And wait months down the road while everything else gets worse. But yet, they'll send billions to almost trillions of dollars, and you wonder why our debt's the way it fucking is, to other countries that don't benefit us whatsoever. If I'm the U.S. government and I'm sending you money and constant monies, I'm going to ask, what do you have to show for it? You want the debt to stop rising? Hit them with this. You have 90 days to come up with a comprehensive plan as to why we should continue to fund you, or you have two choices. One, we pull all of our shit out, or two, you start paying back your fair share. And watch the debt start declining. By the way, if any political entity is listening, I just gave you a fucking solid solution. Because I'm tired of seeing America as the world's police. And I'm tired of going to the conflicts and seeing people die for no fucking reason. Which brings me to this current issue with the Middle East. And I'm going to say it straightforward. If you support Palestine, get the fuck out of my community. I refuse to have anybody who supports the same people who chanted death to America on 9/11, whether you think it's an inside job or not. The same people who will burn American flags and behead our soldiers and our servicemen and women and throw gays and lesbians and everybody a part of the LGBTQIA plus community off buildings, all because of their own core beliefs. But Israel's the bad guy, right? Put yourself in their situation where they're backed in a corner constantly. They pulled out of Gaza. I know the history on this. They pulled out of Gaza before I went into the service. And for people to be like, oh, well, Israel's bad. All right, well, if you are constantly being bombarded by missiles and your people are being, hurt or even worse, killed, your only resort is no longer peace, but is to react with either equal or greater force to say, knock it the fuck off. And YouTube, I know I'm dropping F-bombs. I don't care about the monetization factor. Because your algorithm is so goddamn trash, it's not even funny. But whenever you have a country that is dealing with this constantly, and you got people that are supporting the other side, you need to wake up and realize what you're supporting, because whether you're a Christian or somebody of religious faith or background or not, this conflict in this area is referenced in the end times part of the Bible known as Revelation. I'm not a Bible scholar. I consider myself a Christian, a work in progress, because my fucking mouth first and foremost, and I'm not perfect, okay? But I will say this, I have read the book of Revelation, and I know exactly where everything points to. Am I calling this end times? Hell no. Am I calling this biblical proportions? Yeah. Because, on the same token, this area, this shit was mentioned. And now you have Iran sending shit to the border of Iraq, which was biblical time, Babylon, which was an area of violence. Ironic, right? Iran is a fucking state-sponsored terroristic organization country that is doing shit the way they want to do, all because they were given the funds and the means to fund certain things. Thanks, Obama. Oh, did I say the quiet part out loud? On the flip side, you have people over in the Gaza Strip that are stranded. I don't want death and destruction and, you know, mayhem towards innocents. I don't. But on the same token, will I ever accept the help of somebody who, or will I ever, you know, help somebody who chanted "Death to America" on one of the worst attacks on American soil? Fuck no. That's like going up to somebody who murdered your entire family and them saying, "Hey, you got $5 I can borrow?" Makes no sense, right? And they're considered, and Palestine also is, what's that other organization? Oh, yeah, Hamas. Before you jump down my fucking throat, I want you to do a little bit of research on them. Because I know my fucking facts. I've seen my fucking facts. Why don't you see it for yourself? Don't go to YouTube. Don't search it on Rumble. Go to Al Jazeera. Go to their website. They are non-biased in every facet. And I want you to search. And I'm gonna tell you straightforward. This is a graphic headline: Hamas beheadings. And I want you to understand, they don't care where you are from. They don't care on your background. They don't care on your religious beliefs. They don't care if you're part of the LGBTQIA plus community. They don't care about you. And I want you to go ahead and see that they do not give a fuck about anything except for their own goals. And I'm fair warning you right now, if you go and search that on Al Jazeera, you've been warned. It's graphic. It is extreme graphic. I'm not going to link it in any video. I'm not going to link it in the descriptions or anything like that. But what I will say is, with me telling you that it's graphic and knowing what I've fucking seen, you've been warned. So why would I ever sit there and donate to either side of the coin? And it's why I haven't donated to the fucking conflict between Russia and Ukraine, because I don't agree with either one. I'm not going to donate to Israel or to Palestine or anybody who's doing this. If anybody's like, oh, hey, you want to raise money for this? You want to donate to this? My answer would be a resounding fuck you. Because it has no place in my house, in my area whatsoever. It has no place with that. So for me to sit there and say, oh, hey, I'm going to donate here, fuck that. And this brings me to the next point. To the younger generation that's going into the military, I feel bad for you because you're inept and incompetent leadership all the way up to the President of the United States. And it doesn't matter if it's Biden or if it's Trump or whomever. You have people that have been in there for too fucking long that need to retire, that are not going to help you succeed with what you need to succeed in. And if we get into another war where a draft is enacted, I'm permanently disabled. Yeah, you see me walking around and think, I can't carry my fucking ruck anymore. My back is that jacked up. Which means I'm inoperable. I can't go overseas. I can't be combat effective. I feel so fucking bad, and I fear for this generation, if a draft is enabled, for this current generation, who can't take somebody yelling at them. Who will be like, oh, my feelings are hurt. Your feelings mean shit when you're in combat. Your feelings mean shit when you got rounds flying by your head. Your feelings mean shit when you got a buddy that's laying right next to you and his guts are spilling out. You think you're triggered by misappropriating things? Good fucking luck. I said the same thing on a fucking TikTok. Like, my worry isn't, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? Blah, 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 blah. My worry is when it will happen. There's already been some talks about things. Whether they're true or not, I'll just have to wait and see. And aside from that, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I can't predict the future, but if the future happens to be the way it happens, then so fucking be it. Because of the way things are playing out. Because you have the conflict over in Russia, or with Russia and Ukraine, or the war, I should say, not even a conflict. You have the war basically going on over between Israel and Hamas in Palestine. And so many other conflicts going around the globe that aren't even talked about, that aren't even put in the news because they have no significance. They're not part of the narrative aspect of what the news wants to show. I seen a clip. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't feel like getting things hit with a copyright strike. But it was talking about how there was a governor for Israel and a governor for Gaza, like the Gaza Strip, and the gentleman was asked, "Will you condemn it?" He couldn't even answer that. And he's not even a radicalized individual. He couldn't even answer that. If I'm asked, yeah, I fucking condemn it. I also condemn the actions between both sides. Because why are you going to sit there and continue to have death all around, and yet y'all want to sit there and go off your faith? Okay, greatest commandment between any religion, if God is essential, is love. Why are you still killing each other? That's not love. That's hatred. That's disdainment. It's disheartening. But I'm just a talking head that produces content to the best of my ability. That's been doing this for way too damn long for my own good. What do I know, right? I'm only a vet who's seen the good, bad, and actually abyss of this type of fucking world. What do I know? I'm just somebody who sees it as it is. And I'll go do my own research and do my own fact checking. I'll sit here and go off of everything that I see for a notion. Like, I could search all day. Different avenues of what everything will show. And there will be different headlines. And the way the narratives are written are completely different. It's one of them things. But going with the fighting aspect, boxing has now become a fucking joke. Actually, combat sports has become a fucking joke. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, look no further between the KSI and Logan Paul fights that happened over the weekend. That was pathetic. Now I'm going to tell you straightforward. If they're like, I'll whoop your ass, I'm like, we don't even need to do this in a ring. I don't fucking care. Why bait thousands of people to watch two idiots, two social media idiots, mind you, sit there, run around the ring, and I saw everything off of Twitter. So it's like, thank God somebody posted it. I didn't even need to spend money. And I didn't give a shit anyways, but I saw this. I'm like, the fuck is this? It's pathetic. This ain't boxing. These are kids, like, doing, let's say they're patting at each other. And Dylan Danes, what the, like, he brought his forearm up and tried hitting him with a hammer, like, a freaking horizontal hammer fist. I'm like, you have a jiu-jitsu background. You trying to do that shit? Bro. Come on. The fuck? And then trying to take a Logan Paul down with a double leg like a double leg takedown, failed at that. Tried doing a guillotine, failed at that. Which, if you have a jiu-jitsu background, you know how to do a proper guillotine from standing, a floating guillotine. Like, come on. And Logan Paul, who's signed by WWE, I've seen his in-ring ability. He's athletic as hell. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, he is athletic as hell. Seeing his first match and how well he performed, phenomenal. And this whole KSI and Fury, little jibber jabber and everything else, it goes to show what happens when you start talking behind a keyboard to when you're face to face. Size does not fucking matter. It does not. Skill and ability do. Like, boxing, God, man. I've never seen that much clinching of another person in my entire life. Not even since the Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield fights. And the reason why Holyfield's missing half an ear on both sides, Tyson got tired of getting headbutted. Pretty fucking simple. He's like, all right, numb. And those who are too young, go look it up. That's why he was labeled the baddest man on the planet. And still is. He might be, older in his years. I guarantee you, one hook, you're out. Your lights are out. And it was that freaking left hook that, boom, lights out. Every time he stepped in the ring with somebody. But Holyfield kept clinching him. It kept headbutting him. So Tyson took a chunk of one ear, kept doing it, and he took a chunk of the other ear. Gritty, but hey. I bring that up because look at what the sacred sport of boxing used to be and what it's become. You got Floyd Mayweather, who runs from opponents with the same ref that'll break it up whenever somebody gets too close. And yes, he does run. I've seen enough footage. I've seen enough replays to know he runs. He'll stick whenever he can. And that same ref that he has, probably on his payroll, will separate the two and allow Mayweather to get the advantage. Same ref every fucking fight. Because, I'm sorry, Manny Pacquiao won that fight. And I by no means am a fan of boxing, but even I know Pacquiao won that fight. It's just... It's beyond weird how bad that sport has actually become. Because here you have a sacred sport in boxing, and it's turned into a circus theatrical little parlay type trick. And now you have social media influencers wanting to duke it out in the ring and everything else. I'm like, why force people to pay for that crap? Why? Like that's the same notion if there was heat between myself and somebody like a mega star like freaking. I'll bring his. I'll drop his name. Fucking Doctor Disrespect. I have no ill will beef towards him, except for some of the not so nice things that he said in the past. But would that ever want me to fucking fight him? No. If he's like, hey, we'll do it for charity, I'm like, all right, but we're not doing boxing. Like, first nap out or tap out. Simple. Am I calling him out? Fuck no. If anybody says, "Oh, Marine calling out Doctor Respect," blah blah, it's like, no, don't twist my fucking words. Like, just don't. I got respect for what he does in what he's been doing in the industry, going as consistent as the same character and the same gimmick that he's been doing for as many years as possible. Always comes back with the back-to-back two-time blockbuster champion. Has that notion over people's head, and while yes, he can get heated and he can get overly toxic on certain things. There have been times to where I've seen him literally take a step back where somebody's going through something and he's like, all right, hey, you listen to me. Ignore the noise. Let's take a step back and pull back the facade of his gimmick and his character and be real. Be who he really is. I'm not going to say his real name, but to be who he really is. The same thing with Tim the Tatman, Lupo, Shroud, Ninja, Gathalion. Any large influencer and creator in the digital space, if they have that basic decency of a humanistic nature, they will pull back their gimmick and pull back their character and be there for people. And, even though Tim the Tatman is going through certain things, prayers towards his family, guarantee he'll still be there for some of his closest friends and his closest members of his community, especially if people are having a hard time. Guarantee it. Because it's them as human beings being just the core basis of it all. Being a decent human being. And I spoke about this the other week. Being a decent human being is one of the best core attributes you can be. Not being an overly toxic piece of shit that stalks people online, making a bunch of accounts just to try to get them to quit streaming. And yeah, I'm going to bring this up. I have an online stalker who I will not state his real name on this podcast because he will not get the attention he wants. What I will say is we have a little nickname for him called My Guy. And it's quite funny seeing how bad he flips out. I have a little soundbite, which I'm not going to play. Unless it's on, a live stream. I'm currently recording for this podcast. And it's funny because he thinks that by him talking, nothing is recorded. All I have to do is click his name and click the messages. And it's even better on Mixup because it instantly creates a chat log. It is phenomenal. I've been dealing with this dude for over 3 years. Do I care I'm speaking about it now? No. Because is he a decent human being? No. Lowest of lows. Pretty simple. Let's make sure I'm not losing internet. I am getting drop frames. Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube or on Rumble or live when I do these recordings, you'll see me look over to my right, which is my right. I have my OBS up, and I'm like down here in the bottom corner. If you can look very closely where my finger's at, there's like a little green box. That'll tell me if I'm green, yellow, red, orange. That'll tell me the connectivity. Right next to it, I have my frames per second, CPU, how long I'm recording, live, and then dropped frames. The drop frames isn't the issue. The kilobytes per second and that little box changing colors. That's what I'm looking for. Because a live stream is dictated on whether or not your connectivity to the net is good, is decent to good to go or not. But anyways, we'll move on to the next item that I'm wanting to talk about. And that would be Kick's analytics section coming up. I cannot wait for that to happen because that'll give us a much further understanding as to the time that we go live, what category we're in, everything else. Trovo did it right by implementing it early on within them being whenever they were a beta site. And if Kick's wanting to have their full API out by the end of the year, they need that as of last month, because currently right now they're lacking in certain areas. And with the analytics factor, I want them to have the ability to remove followers from our following, so that if there's somebody, like in my situation, who makes a bunch of accounts that constantly follows the channel, I don't want them knowing whenever I'm going live. Because that gives them an edge over me, because they can just go and create another account and come harass the channel under a completely different alias. Same person, same device, same IP address and MAC address, completely different username. But it's in context and essence the same person. And it'll help us be able to understand what we need to do to grow, to be able to hit certain metrics, so that those who are grinding for that, verified channel status, we can go ahead and get it correct and get it done correctly. But without the analytics, we can't. So I'm really hoping that comes sooner than later. Like by the end of October. And if it's out by the end of then, I'll speak on it. I'll, mention it. If I don't, then you'll know it's not out yet. So it's just one area that would help people that are creators grow, in essence, to be a better version of themselves, especially in this industry. Speaking of growing to be better, Trovo. Y'all keep changing the metrics for your Trovo 500 program. Every time I am damn near close to getting a partnership or part of your 500 program. And I'm getting fed up with it. Because at first it was just watch hours, and then you found out people were abusing the boxes, and you said nobody's going to be able to have their watch hours or anything factored in from there. So you implemented the PK Arena. Then you found out people were abusing that. I never participated in the PK Arena. I think it's still utter bullshit, because what forced people to, spend their hard-earned money on things that the creator doesn't want people to spend money on. Then you roll out this whole Trovo point system, which, one, I'm still utterly confused with it. Two, there's no sheer definition as what qualifies as part of the Trovo point. And three, y'all keep updating it again. It's about to get to the point where I'm like, I'm not even gonna go for your 500 program. I'm just gonna be an account that streams it that's monetized. But we'll see where I land. We'll see what happens in the next 2 months within November and December. But seeing the point, like the whole Trovo point system increase exponentially just for your lowest tier, which is bronze, that's kind of bad. Like that's kind of bad, guys. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Just, oof. I would rather y'all go back to your beta format than what you have currently. Because what you have currently is utter garbage. It's factored on watch points or watch hours and travel points and the PK arena and all this other crap. I'm like, no. Just no. Mixer did it right. Certain amount of followers, certain amount of average viewers, accept it or not. They did it right. And honestly, I wish the other platforms would do it like that as well. Because it's gonna get to a point where people are like, I'm done. And they're just gonna stop streaming, and you're gonna be like, why have they gone live? You're gonna go to the social media, and there's gonna be this twit one. Like, oh. But yeah. It's one of those where it's like, stop messing with things. Which brings me to Rumble. I sent a email to support asking if there was an alert box. They sent me a response back and said, hi there, this and many other answers can be found in an FAQ. Please read this article. So I clicked the link. And it takes me to Rumble's live stream API beta. And then I scroll down and I see all of this fucking bullshit of coding and everything else. And then it takes me to a URL, another URL. And I'm sitting there watching the video, and I noticed something that I completely disagree with. The URL has .json, JSON. If you do not understand my disdainment for JSON, I can't stand it. I cannot stand JSON's, the way it's coded, the way it's worded, all that. Which I then sent back a reply. Quote, this does not provide a solid answer and also as JSON, which is garbage at best. I used JSON when Trovo was an early beta and had the utmost difficulty in understanding it. Why doesn't Rumble reach out to any of the applications like Mixitup, Botrix, Nightbot, MooBot, Streamlabs, or Stream Elements and using an actual alert system that is easy to use? Having people use JSON as a means is not effective in alerting us when there are follows or subscriptions to our channel. Even DLive has Tidy Labs, which is meh at best, but it's loads better than JSON. I'd be happy to test any of these to the platform in live streaming aspects, but I'm not going to utilize JSON as a quote means end quote for notifications that don't send alerts when events happen. JSON I refuse to freaking use because it is garbage. Hot freaking garbage. I can't stand it. I would rather sit there and go get dick punched up by playing Escape from Tarkov for 24 hours straight than ever touch JSON. And I mean that. Speaking of games, I have been enjoying the ever living hell out of Valheim on our dedicated server. Did a little uh, Halo franchise competition from Halo Wars 1 all the way through Halo Infinite, but myself and the homie that we were in competition, that I was in competition with, we called it because he hadn't even touched Halo 4 and I was already on Halo Wars 2. Almost like I was at the halfway point. So he wouldn't have been able to catch up. Even if he had stayed up another 24 hours. He wasn't catching me. So within that was fun. I got invited to play test a couple other games, which some I'm gonna take a look at, others I'm not even gonna bother. And realistically, I've just been enjoying things. I know I sound tired. I know if you're watching, I look tired, but I've just been enjoying things. But yeah, the way things are within the world is just crazy. Absolutely freaking crazy. But yeah. If you were watching on Rumble, drop that follow, hit that subscribe to the channel. Watching on YouTube, hit that like button, sub to the channel, hit that notification bell for whenever you get more content. And on Spotify, greatly appreciate everybody listening and watching. Yeah, just this world is absolutely crazy and everything. So next week we'll see what events are coming out. Couple things I will say is on the 11th of November, so that is Veterans Day. The podcast might be a day early, which will be on the 10th, because on the 11th I'm doing a charity stream, Raidathon, trying to raise money for Stack Up. It's gonna be myself and a couple other vets. We are gonna be going through every single raid. I may be tired the day after, so that's why I'm going to do the podcast a day early on that Friday, Marine Corps birthday, November 10th, and touch base with things from there. So, other than that, I will catch all of y'all next week. Peace.